Is your pool pump not working, not turning, not pumping any water, and when you turn it on, you can't hear and make any sound? If you have any of those issues, something is wrong with your pump. We will help you to troubleshoot and diagnose some of those issues. First thing you want to check for is that the pump is getting proper voltage. In your pool panel, there will be a breaker. Make sure that the breaker is turned on and not tripped. Your pool panel might have many breakers, so you want to locate the breaker that feeds the pump, and hopefully it's labeled. If it's not labeled, you can still try to turn it off and turn it back on just to give it a reset and see if that will work. If you make sure that your breaker is on and the pump is still not running, one other thing you can check is to make sure the pump is getting proper voltage. For that, you'll have to access your high voltage department where the power is coming in, open that up and test with the voltmeter. Before you access the power connection, make sure your breaker is off and the pump is not getting any power. Now that you have access to the pump electrical, locate the 2 hot wires that are coming in to the L1 and L2 terminal. At this point, we're gonna turn the breaker back on and put our voltmeter and try to see what kind of voltage we're getting. First thing you wanna do is test each line individually. So we're gonna put one on ground and the other one on L1. And as you see, we're getting about 126 volts, which means that line is good. And the other line is also getting about 120 volts. Now, you also want to make sure that together, they're both reading about 240. Your ground wires should always be green and the hot wires will be colored. Sometimes it's blue, most of the time it's black and red. In this case, we have a blue and yellow. Hey, quick warning, you're dealing with high voltage and this could be dangerous. So if you're not feeling comfortable with that, just give us a call. If you're getting zeros and you're not getting any volt readings, then your pool pump is not getting any power. But if you are getting proper voltage and electrical supply, then we have to do further troubleshooting. So your pool pump turns on, but it's not pumping any water. Next step we're gonna check is for valves, proper seal and connections. Every pool equipment setup can look a little different, but if you have valves before the pump, you want to make sure that those valves are not sucking any air. Here's a couple things you can look for. If your valve is leaking water, that's clearly an issue. Sometimes the valve will not leak any water, but it will suck air. At this point, you can open up the valve and there will be a couple O-rings located inside the valve that might have went bad. Most of the pumps will have a union connection. Make sure that this union is snugly tight. Every pump lid will have an O-ring. You want to make sure that this O-ring right here is not ripped. You want to make sure that the O-ring is in a good condition. If you see any cracks or flat spots on the O-ring, then it's probably time to replace that. This one still looks good and it's in a good condition. You always want to make sure that the O-ring is properly lubed up and not dry. So give a little bit of lubrication before you put it back on. Now, when you put the pump lid back on, make sure it's snug. Most of these pumps are self-priming pumps, which means if there's a little bit of water in there, it will catch on prime and it will start pushing water. When you do these steps, make sure your pump is turned off. Do not try to take off your pump lid when the pump is running. If you start your pump and it's still not pushing any water, try priming your pump by putting water inside your pump. Once you turn on your pump should start pushing water as you see it over here. Water is filling up in the basket. And ideally, you want the water to fill up all the way to the top of your lid and not see any air bubbles in there. If you have tried all those steps and your pool pump is still not pushing any water, it's time to hire a licensed professional. If your pool pump is still not working and you need a licensed professional to come to your house, we service neighborhoods in Roswell, California area and in general Sacramento area.